those of you who would like to listen to the live stream and see some video of me in the studio, we are live streaming once again today on Facebook. You can find it on my personal timeline, Sam Liebowitz, Liebowitz. And please feel free to go there and share. I'm streaming it live. I'll see if I can share it on the Talking Alternative Facebook page as well. Sam Liebowitz in New York City. I see I have one friend joined in, Brigitte. Very nice to see you listening in, Brigitte. Please feel free to comment on the video. I will see those comments. And of course, as I mentioned before we went out to break, if anybody wants to call in and ask a question or contribute to the conversation, please feel free to call in 212-721-8180 or 877-480-4120. And if I don't catch you the first time because I'm kind of engineering the show on my own today, if I miss the call, please call back. So, in regards to the quotes of the day today and what I was just talking about in terms of our thoughts and how we think really creating our reality, I was at a networking event this morning, one that one of our other hosts, JC Maldonado, runs with a dear friend of mine, Cynthia Greenwald. And we had a guest speaker this morning who was like a customer service expert. And she was talking about, she's talking to a business-to-business crowd of people who are business owners, professionals, solo, of people who are talking about, how customers can either be raving fans or they're ranting with their unhappiness. And she kind of, in her presentation, showed how it really comes down to, right, their experience with yourself, your company, your coworkers, and whether anybody else in the organization, how they are showing up. Are they showing up as a raver or a ranter? Are they showing up with the attitude of service? Are they showing up as a human being? Are they showing up with true care and concern for the person at the other end of the phone who calls up to complain because they're having a problem? And she really held up a mirror to sort of everybody in the room saying, look, if you have an employee, if you have somebody, a coworker, somebody who is not providing the best service for your customers, you really need to look at the mirror first. And she gave this wonderful example of somebody who, and by the way, this person I'm talking about, I am going to have her on my show in the future, of somebody who had an employee who'd been there 20-something years, and she was just awful. She had a real bad attitude. Nothing this woman could do to work with her would get her to change her stance, her attitude. And she pretty much said to the owner, you really got to get rid of her. And, the other employees are suffering from her. Your clients are suffering. And the owner was like, well, she's going to retire in 2 years. I'm just going to wait it out until she retires. And, she gives us this face, and everyone starts to laugh because we know. It's like, how much damage can this woman do in 2 years? How many potential customers is she going to turn away? Is she going to turn off? How many employees is she going to make it an unproductive working environment for them that you end up losing good employees, valuable employees? And as she said, if you want to wait the 2 years, give her a 2-year severance package and let her go, because consider it an investment in the business, because she's going to cause so much trouble. But really, why did this person not let her go, not want to? Because that individual, that owner, did not themselves care enough about the customers, care enough about the business to do ultimately what was really best for everyone. And you see, that's the thing. It's like if you want to have amazing people around you, it starts with you. You have to be amazing. If you want the people who work with you, for you, and around you to care about whatever it is that you do, whether it's creating a product, offering a service, doing some technology, it doesn't matter what it is. What matters is how we show up. What matters is our intention behind it. What matters is our focus. What matters is caring enough about what we're doing, even if it's not the passion of our life, even if it's only something temporary, even if it's just something to pay the bills. Hey, especially if it's just something to pay the bills, you should love that job. You should love everyone that you're with. Because if you don't, how much longer are you going to be around before something happens and then you don't have that job to pay the bills? Now look, I get it. Not everybody is fun to work with. Not all customers are fun to be around. But you know what? You don't know their story. You don't know what their life is like. You haven't walked 5 miles in their shoes. You don't know if they have a sick relative at home that they're nursing. You don't know if they just found out they have some rare disease. You don't know what trauma they've had. You don't know if they've been abused as a child. You don't know. So give them the benefit of the doubt. Talk to them. Treat them like they are the most valuable person in the world. And you know what? If you're the one who stands up and says, you know what, I don't care. I'm not going to judge the person. They're a human being. Let me be humane and let me be a human and let me treat them the way I would want to be treated if I was in that situation. You know, the funny thing is, 99% of the time, if you do that, if you show up that way, whoever this troublemaker is in your life, whether they're a coworker, a customer, a boss, or a relative, when you start showing up differently, they start showing up differently. Maybe not right away, maybe not all at once, maybe not overnight, but like the little drop of water, the way the hard edges. Slowly but surely, their energy starts to change. And maybe it's not that they become all nicey-nicey all of a sudden, but maybe they start opening up to you a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, they let out their deep, dark secret to you because maybe you're the only one who's treated them like a human being, even though they were in such pain inside, that they felt safe enough around you to say, you know what, I really appreciate how you've been with me. It's been really difficult these last 5 years. My husband's been battling leukemia or cancer, or he had a stroke and he can't do things for himself and I'm having to take care of him. Or maybe it's, the last couple of years I found out one of my grandchildren is autistic or has developmental disabilities and I'm trying to help my daughter. Perhaps, once you allow them the space to let it out, then you find out what's going on. Oh, thank you so much, Brigitte. Brigitte chimes in through giving 100% for 6 hours, even if it, quote, only pays the bill, quote. They are testing this in Sweden, 6-hour workdays. Wow, that's great. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Let me like that. Yes, absolutely. That's shortening the days and just wanting people to give 100% for shorter days can be better. Now, the thing is, I know they're testing that out in Sweden. I know in particular tech companies, I don't know why, but somehow I think technology companies tend to be a little bit more on the leading edge when it comes to like new ideas around work. There are a lot of companies out there now. I feel it was at Netflix, and a few other tech companies. They offer unlimited vacation days now. And what they found is people don't abuse it. Not only don't they abuse it, but people actually take less time off because and it's just, again, it's treating people like human beings. You know, if you want the best from people, give them the best, right? So yeah, and a lot of companies now are virtual companies. I know I have a friend, and she has, a small to mid-sized company, probably works with 12 to 24 employees that are scattered around the country, and that they only meet maybe once or twice or 3 times a year. They try and get everyone together in one city, but they're mostly virtual, and they telecommute and they do things via video. And what this does is it, number one, places a lot of trust in the people, and number two, gives them the flexibility they need. I mean, when you think about it, if you give your employees and the people you're working with the tools, the responsibility, and the authority to do a good job, to do whatever it takes, they do it. Yeah, there was someone interviewed on one of the other shows the other week on 21st Century Entrepreneur. Augustine, I forget his last name, he's from France. These two guys created this amazing cookie company called Michel and Augustine, and they're amazing cookies. And what they do is their employees don't have to get every budget item approved. Like, they feel there's something important and they need to spend $1,000, $500, I don't know, whatever it is, that they trust them. They say, okay, spend the money. You don't have to justify it up front. And they'll do an accounting of it afterwards. But they trust the employees. And it's that kind of attitude of giving people the resources and the flexibility to do what they need to do, to really trust them. Now, granted, trust doesn't just appear. Trust is something you build up over time. But when you show people that you trust them first, most of the time they'll show you have a reason to trust them. So everyone, please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.